The Silent Betrayal. New York City, 2:43 a.m. The call that changed everything. Logan Pierce had spent his entire career cleaning up other people's messes. As a crisis manager for some of the most powerful people in the country, his job was simple: bury secrets before they destroyed lives. Politicians, CEOs, Hollywood elites. If they had a scandal, Logan made sure it never saw the light of day. But tonight, the scandal was his own. His phone buzzed. Unknown number. Your wife isn't in Chicago. She's in room 613, Lexington Hotel. You should see this for yourself. Logan's heart pounded. His wife, Rachel, was supposed to be on a business trip, but now someone wanted him to know otherwise. And Logan Pierce had learned a long time ago. No message like this is ever random. Plotline 1. The hotel room that shouldn't exist. Lexington Hotel, 3:12 a.m. Logan slid the stolen keycard into the door. The lock clicked. He stepped inside. And then his world collapsed. Rachel was there. But she wasn't alone. Standing across the room was Nathan Carter. One of Logan's clients. One of the most powerful men in Washington. One of the men Logan had covered for. And now, the man standing in his wife's hotel room in the middle of the night. Rachel's eyes widened when she saw him. Logan! Logan's jaw tightened. Tell me the truth. Nathan Carter exhaled. You won't like the answer. Logan's pulse pounded. Because this wasn't just a betrayal. This was something else. Something worse. And the moment Logan saw the gun on the table, he knew. This wasn't just about an affair. It was about survival. Plotline 2. The deal that was never real. Rachel's hands shook. Logan. I need you to listen to me. Logan stepped forward. I'm listening. Nathan Carter cut in. She's not the only one who lied to you. Logan stared. Carter picked up the gun and placed it in Logan's hands. You've been cleaning up my messes for years, Pierce. His voice lowered. Now I need you to clean up one more. Logan froze. Then he saw the blood on the carpet. And his stomach twisted. Because there, lying on the floor, was a dead man. A man Logan recognized. Daniel Graves, FBI counterintelligence. Rachel's voice shook. Logan. This isn't what you think. Logan's breath hitched. Then what the hell is it? Because suddenly, this wasn't about cheating. This was about murder. Plotline 3. The setup that shouldn't have worked. Logan's mind raced. Nathan Carter was untouchable. A billionaire fixer with deep government connections. If Daniel Graves had been investigating him, then Carter had every reason to want him dead. Logan's stomach twisted. Tell me this wasn't you. Rachel looked away. That was all the answer he needed. Logan exhaled sharply. This wasn't an accident. It was a setup. And now they were trying to make him the fall guy. Plotline 4. The phone that shouldn't have buzzed. Then Logan's phone buzzed. Unknown number. If you want to live, leave the room. Now. Logan's chest tightened. Someone was watching. Someone who knew what was coming. Logan's gut screamed to run. But instead he looked at Rachel. At the woman he had loved. The woman who had lied to him. And for the first time he asked himself. Was she setting him up too? Rachel's voice was barely a whisper. Logan. Please trust me. Logan clenched his jaw. Then, a single gunshot ripped through the air. The window shattered. Rachel screamed. And Logan dived for cover. Because suddenly, this wasn't just about a dead FBI agent. Someone was trying to kill them all. Plotline 5. The escape that shouldn't have happened. More gunfire. Glass exploded across the room. Nathan Carter grabbed his gun. They found us. Logan's heart raced. Who? Carter didn't answer. Instead, he ran. Straight into the hallway. Rachel grabbed Logan's hand. We have to go. But Logan wasn't moving. Because something was very wrong. This wasn't a random hit. Someone had planned this. And now Logan had to decide. Run and live to figure out the truth. Or stay and risk dying for a lie. Rachel's eyes pleaded with him. Logan, please. Logan's pulse pounded. Then, he made his choice. And everything changed. To be continued. Who sent Logan the warning? Is Rachel really on his side, or playing a deeper game? And how far is Logan willing to go to uncover the truth? Logan thought he had spent his life protecting powerful men. Now, he might have just become their next target. Lexington Hotel, 3:17 a.m. The escape that shouldn't have happened. Logan Pierce wasn't a fool. But tonight he felt like one. The shattered glass. The blood on the floor. The weight of the gun in his hands. Nothing about this was random. Everything about it was designed. Logan had spent years covering up other people's secrets. Now, someone was using his own wife to bury him alive. Rachel's grip tightened around his wrist. "We have to go, Logan." More gunfire outside. Nathan Carter was already gone. The man who had set this in motion had left him to die. Logan exhaled sharply. His gut screamed to run. His instincts told him to stay. Rachel's voice broke through the noise. "Trust me." And for the first time, Logan realized. He wasn't sure if he ever truly had. Plotline 6. The warning that came too late. Lexington Hotel. Service exit. 3:21 a.m. Logan and Rachel slipped into the alley behind the hotel. Rain pounded the pavement. Rachel's breathing was ragged. Logan scanned the street. No cops. No sirens. No sign of who had fired the first shot. But Logan knew better. They weren't running. They were being herded. Logan clenched his fists. "You're going to tell me everything, Rachel?" She hesitated. "I can't." Logan's jaw tightened. "You don't have a choice anymore." Rachel swallowed hard. "I didn't kill that agent." Logan nodded. "I know." Her eyes widened. "You do." Logan exhaled. "Yes." And that's what scared him the most. Plotline 7. The setup that runs too deep. Brooklyn. Safe house. 3:45 a.m. Logan drove through the rain-soaked streets, his mind racing. Rachel sat in the passenger seat, staring at her hands. Logan's pulse pounded. Nathan Carter had set him up. The FBI agent was dead. And if Logan didn't figure out why, he was going to end up the same way. He pulled into an abandoned warehouse lot. Rachel's voice was quiet. "I didn't want you to find out this way." Logan parked. "Find out what?" Rachel looked at him. And when she spoke, Logan felt his world tilt. "I was never supposed to be your wife." Plotline 8. The marriage that was a mission. Logan stared at her. His fingers curled around the steering wheel. "Say that again." Rachel exhaled. "You were a job, Logan." Logan's chest tightened. "From the start." Rachel nodded. "I was sent to watch you. To keep you close." Logan's stomach twisted. "By who?" Rachel swallowed. "The same people who just tried to kill us." Silence. Logan's hands trembled. Everything about their life. Every memory. Every moment. It had all been scripted. Rachel's voice was soft. Until it wasn't. Logan's jaw tightened. "Why are you telling me this now?" Rachel's eyes darkened. "Because now I want to survive too." Plotline 9. The people who shouldn't exist. Logan exhaled slowly. "Who are they?" Rachel hesitated. Then, she reached into her coat. Logan's pulse spiked as he grabbed his gun. But she didn't pull a weapon. She pulled a USB drive. She handed it to him. Logan's fingers hovered over it. "What's on here?" Rachel's voice was hoarse. "Proof." Logan narrowed his eyes. "Of what?" Rachel exhaled. "That the man you've been covering for, Nathan Carter, doesn't just clean up scandals." Her voice dropped lower. "He creates them." Logan's breath slowed. Because suddenly, this wasn't about an affair. This wasn't even about murder. This was about power. The kind of power that didn't just destroy lives. The kind of power that erased them. And right now, Logan Pierce was next on that list. Plotline 10. The last person he could trust. Logan's fingers tightened around the USB. His entire life he had controlled who lived and who fell. Now someone had flipped the script. Rachel swallowed hard. "If we run, we die." Logan nodded. "If we stay, we die." Rachel's eyes locked onto his. "Then what do we do?" Logan smirked coldly. "We stop playing defense." Rachel hesitated. "You mean?" Logan nodded. We go after Carter first. Rachel's voice wavered. He'll see us coming. Logan's smirk widened. That's what I'm counting on. Because if Carter thought he had won, he was about to learn exactly what happened when Logan Pierce went off script. And this time, the cleanup was going to be permanent. Brooklyn Safe House, 4:12 a.m. The plan that shouldn't work. Logan Pierce had spent his life hiding other people's secrets. Now, he was about to expose one that could get him killed. The USB drive Rachel had given him wasn't just proof. It was a weapon. A collection of offshore accounts, wire transfers, and blackmail files. Every scandal Nathan Carter had covered up or created. If this went public, Carter wouldn't just lose power. He would be erased. Rachel watched him from across the room. You're thinking about running. Logan smirked. No, Rachel. I'm thinking about winning. He inserted the USB into his laptop. And the moment the files loaded, Logan's blood ran cold. Because at the top of the list, marked in red, Logan Pierce, asset. Compromised. Rachel's breath hitched. They already knew. Logan clenched his fists. This wasn't just about bringing Carter down. This was about surviving long enough to do it. Plotline 11. The call that changed everything. Lexington Hotel, 4:20 a.m. Nathan Carter leaned back in a leather chair, swirling a glass of bourbon. His phone rang. An unknown number. Carter smirked. He already knew who it was. He answered. Logan. I was wondering when you'd stop running. Silence. Then Logan's voice came through, calm but cold. You made a mistake, Carter. Carter exhaled, amused. I've made many. Be more specific. Logan's tone didn't change. You should have killed me when you had the chance. Carter chuckled. Who says I didn't? Logan exhaled sharply. I have the files, Nathan. Every deal. Every cover-up. Every kill order. Carter swirled his drink. And what are you going to do, Logan? Leak them. Logan smirked. No. I'm going to sell them. Carter's expression darkened. To who? Logan leaned forward. To the highest bidder. And just like that, Logan had flipped the entire game. Plotline 12. The offer that shouldn't exist. Rachel's eyes widened. You're selling the files? Logan nodded. If I leak them, Carter controls the narrative. But if I make him compete for them, Rachel exhaled. You make him desperate. Logan smirked. Desperate people make mistakes. Rachel's jaw tightened. You're playing a dangerous game. Logan's expression didn't change. No, Rachel. I'm playing to win. He turned back to his laptop. Typed a single message. Exclusive data package for sale. Bidding starts at $10 million. Buyer must be powerful enough to keep me alive. Then he hit send. Now, it was only a matter of time before the sharks started circling. Plotline 13. The first offer. Washington, D.C., 5:15 a.m. Inside a penthouse office, a woman in a dark suit read the message. She smirked. Then, she picked up the phone. Tell Mr. Pierce we'd like to make a bid. Her assistant hesitated. But, ma'am, he's a liability. The woman's eyes darkened. Everyone is a liability until they're an asset. She exhaled. Let's find out which one he is. And just like that, Logan's auction had begun. Plotline 14. The bidding war that shouldn't have happened. Brooklyn Safe House, 6:02 a.m. Logan's laptop pinged. First offer, $15 million. Then another $20 million. And then, a message that made Logan's breath hitch. Withdraw your offer. You won't survive long enough to spend the money. Rachel stiffened. They're warning you. Logan smirked. They're scared. He typed back. If I die, the files go public. Choose wisely. Now, it was a waiting game, and Logan Pierce never lost those. Plotline 15. The last man standing. Lexington Hotel, 6:30 a.m. Nathan Carter wasn't smiling anymore. His empire was crumbling. His secrets were up for sale. And the worst part? Logan Pierce had forced him to play defense. Carter picked up his phone. Dialed a number he had hoped to never use. The voice on the other end was calm, emotionless. You finally need me, Carter? Carter exhaled. I need him gone. The voice chuckled. Consider it done. And just like that, Logan Pierce's death warrant was signed. Plotline 16. The assassin who never misses. Brooklyn's safe house, 7:15 a.m. Rachel's phone buzzed. She frowned. Then her face paled. Logan noticed immediately. What? Rachel hesitated. Then she turned the phone around. Logan's stomach dropped. Run. No sender. No trace. Just one word. Logan's breath hitched. Because he knew exactly who sent it. The only person who could. The man Carter called when he wanted people erased. Elias Wren, the deadliest assassin in the world. Logan's pulse spiked. Elias Wren didn't leave survivors. And now, he was coming for Logan. Plotline 17. The chase that shouldn't have happened. Brooklyn, 7:30 a.m. The first bullet shattered the window. Rachel screamed. Logan grabbed the laptop and ran. Another bullet tore through the wall. They hit the alley, sprinting through the rain. Logan's mind raced. Elias Wren didn't need numbers. Didn't need backup. He was a one-man execution squad. Rachel gasped. Where do we go? Logan exhaled sharply. We don't run. Rachel's eyes widened. Then what do we do? Logan clenched his jaw. We set a trap. Rachel hesitated. For Elias Wren? Logan smirked. Yeah. Let's see if ghosts can bleed. Because if Elias Wren wanted a hunt, Logan Pierce was about to give him one. Brooklyn, 7:32 a.m. The hunter becomes the prey. Logan Pierce had spent his life fixing problems. But right now, he was the problem that needed fixing. Nathan Carter had made one call. And now, the deadliest man on the planet was hunting him. Elias Wren. A name whispered in intelligence circles. A ghost in the world of contract killers. If Elias was after you, you had two choices. Run. Or die. But Logan Pierce? He was about to create a third option. He was about to trap the hunter. Plotline 18. The assassin's rules. Brooklyn, 7:36 a.m. Logan and Rachel ran through the back alleys, weaving between dumpsters and fire escapes. Rachel's breath was ragged. He's close. Logan nodded. Yeah, and that's what we want. Rachel grabbed his arm. You want him to find us? Logan smirked. No, I want him to think he has us. Rachel's eyes darkened. You're playing with fire, Logan. Logan exhaled. Yeah, but so is he. Because there was one thing about Elias Wren that Nathan Carter didn't understand. He wasn't just an assassin. He was a technician. Killer who didn't miss. But Logan Pierce? He knew the rules. And right now, he was about to break every single one of them. Plotline 19. The setup that shouldn't work. Abandoned train yard, 7:48 a.m. Logan and Rachel slipped into a rusted maintenance tunnel. Old train cars, half forgotten, stretched into the distance. Logan's pulse slowed. He'll take the high ground. Rachel nodded. And when he does? Logan pulled out his phone. I send him somewhere he doesn't want to be. Rachel frowned. You're using yourself as bait? Logan smirked. More like an invitation. He typed a message. You want me, Elias? Then come and get me. Rachel's breath hitched. If this doesn't work, we're dead. Logan exhaled. If it doesn't work, we were already dead. Then, the first gunshot shattered the air. Logan grinned. He had his answer. Elias Wren had arrived. Plotline 20. The assassin who never misses. Abandoned train yard, 7:51 a.m. Logan ducked behind a rusted train car as another bullet slammed into the metal. Elias was above them somewhere. Rachel's voice was a whisper. He's hurting us. Logan nodded. Yeah, but he doesn't know. Another bullet whizzed past Logan's ear. He clenched his jaw. That I'm hurting him too. Rachel's eyes widened. You have a plan? Logan smirked. Yeah, we take his biggest advantage and make it his weakness. Rachel frowned. And how do we do that? Logan glanced at his watch. Then he pressed a button on his phone. In the distance, explosion. A chain of small detonations rocked the upper scaffolding. A single metal beam shifted. Then, Elias Wren's sniper perch collapsed. For the first time in his career, Elias Wren missed. Plotline 21. The face of the ghost. Abandoned train yard. 7:54 a.m. Logan and Rachel moved fast. Smoke filled the air. Gunfire rang out, but it was chaotic now. Logan sprinted forward toward Elias. Rachel yelled after him. "Logan, what are you doing?" Logan clenched his fists. "I need to see his face." Through the smoke, a shadow moved. The figure stood up calm, unshaken. And for the first time, Logan locked eyes with Elias Wren. A man in his early 40s. Tall, athletic, face expressionless. No fear, no anger, just calculations. Elias cocked his head. "You surprised me, Pierce." Logan smirked. "That was the point." Elias glanced at the wreckage. "You think this changes anything?" Logan exhaled. "No, but it changes something for you." Elias raised an eyebrow. Logan took a step forward. "You're a professional. No missed shots. No witnesses. No mistakes." He gestured around them. This is a mistake." For the first time, Elias hesitated. Because Logan was right. This wasn't clean. This was loud. And for a man like Elias Wren, that was unacceptable. Logan smirked. "So now you have a choice." Elias folded his arms. "I don't leave jobs unfinished." Logan's eyes darkened. "Then maybe you should ask yourself if Nathan Carter is still your employer." Silence. Then, Elias's phone buzzed. He glanced down. "Read something." And then he smiled. Logan's stomach twisted. "What?" Elias slid his phone into his pocket. Then he holstered his gun. He stepped past Logan, calm as ever, as if he had already won. Rachel exhaled. "What the hell just happened?" Logan clenched his jaw. "I think Carter just made his final move. And if Elias Wren wasn't here to kill them anymore, then that meant something worse. Nathan Carter didn't need an assassin, because he had already set the next part of his plan in motion. And Logan? He was already too late. Plotline 22. The war that was always coming. Washington, D.C., 9 a.m. Nathan Carter stood in a private boardroom. The TV screens behind him flashed with breaking news. Corruption scandal. FBI whistleblower murdered. Fugitive Logan Pierce named prime suspect. The room of executives watched, emotionless. Carter smirked. "The world loves a villain." A woman in a dark suit leaned forward. "And if Pierce fights back?" Carter chuckled. "He won't have time to." He tapped his phone. A single message. "Execute Phase 2. Now, Logan Pierce wasn't just a fugitive. He was the most wanted man in America. And by the time he figured out why, it would already be too late. Safe house. Brooklyn, 9:12 a.m. The setup that shouldn't have worked. Logan Pierce wasn't just a fugitive. He was the most wanted man in the country. Nathan Carter had just pulled off a perfect frame job. And now, every law enforcement agency, every news outlet, and every intelligence operative was looking for one person. Him. Rachel slammed her phone down. "It's everywhere, Logan." Noah, their tech expert, exhaled sharply. "They're calling you a traitor. A murderer." Logan clenched his jaw. Nathan Carter had played his hand. Now, it was time to play his. He pulled up the encrypted files. The ones Rachel had risked her life to get. The ones that could bury Carter forever. But when he opened the file, his blood ran cold. Because at the top of the document, in bold red text, was a name he never expected. Logan Pierce, classified asset. Project Blacklight. Rachel's voice trembled. "Logan, what is this?" Logan's pulse pounded. Because suddenly, this wasn't just about Nathan Carter. This wasn't just about corruption. This was about Logan himself. And the fact that, all along, he had been part of the system he was trying to destroy. Plotline 23. The program that shouldn't exist. Washington, D.C., 10 a.m. Nathan Carter sat in a high-rise boardroom, watching the chaos unfold on the news. A senior intelligence officer across from him folded his hands. You're sure he'll run? Carter smirked. He's not running. He's unraveling. The officer frowned. If he digs too deep, he'll uncover Project Blacklight. Carter's smirk widened. Exactly. The officer narrowed his eyes. You want him to find it? Carter nodded. Because the moment he does, he'll realize the truth. He leaned back, swirling his drink. And when that happens, he won't be fighting against us anymore. The officer frowned. Carter grinned. He'll be fighting for us. Plotline 24. The files that changed everything. Safe House. Brooklyn, 10:18 a.m. Logan's hands trembled as he scrolled through the classified documents. Rachel leaned over his shoulder. What is Project Blacklight? Logan's breath slowed. It's a recruitment program. Rachel's eyes widened. For what? Logan exhaled. For men like me. He scrolled down, scanning his own file. Subject: Logan Pierce. Status: active, unaware. Primary objective: infiltration, manipulation, psychological conditioning. His stomach twisted. Every job he had taken, every case he had covered up, every person he had protected, none of it had been by chance. Rachel whispered, "They built you for this." Logan's voice was hoarse. "And I never even knew." Plotline 25. The offer he shouldn't take. Unknown location, 11 a.m. Elias Wren sat alone in a dimly lit room. His phone rang. He answered. Nathan Carter's voice was smooth. "Still watching him?" Elias smirked. "He's digging. Just like you wanted." Carter exhaled. "Good. Keep him alive a little longer." Elias raised an eyebrow. "You want him to work for you?" Carter chuckled. "No, Elias. I want him to realize he already does." Plotline 26. The truth that could kill him. Safe House. Brooklyn, 12:15 p.m. Logan stared at the screen, his hands shaking. Rachel touched his arm. "Logan. Whatever this is, you're not them." Logan's eyes darkened. "Aren't I?" Rachel clenched her jaw. "You're the only one fighting back." Logan exhaled. "Then we burn it all down." Rachel hesitated. "And if they don't let you?" Logan smirked. "They don't get a choice. Because if Nathan Carter had spent years building him into a weapon, then it was time for Logan to turn that weapon back on him. Plotline 27. The final move begins. Washington, D.C., 1 p.m. Nathan Carter's assistant walked in. "Sir, we have a problem." Carter looked up. The assistant swallowed hard. "Pierce is going dark. He's not running." Carter smiled. "Then he's finally where we want him." The assistant hesitated. "Sir, what if he?" Carter cut him off. "He won't win." He exhaled. "Because this isn't about stopping him anymore." The assistant frowned. "Then what is it about?" Carter smirked. "It's about turning him into something worse." Safe House. Brooklyn, 1:15 p.m. The decision that changes everything. Logan Pierce wasn't just a fugitive. He was a weapon. Built, trained, controlled. And for years he had never even known it. Project Blacklight wasn't just about power. It was about people like him. Recruited, manipulated, turned into assets. Rachel's voice was barely a whisper. "What if Carter isn't trying to kill you?" Logan clenched his jaw. "Then what?" Rachel exhaled. "What if he's trying to make you take his place?" Silence. Logan's hands tightened into fists. If she was right, then this wasn't about stopping Carter. This was about making sure Logan became him. And Logan Pierce had one final choice. Destroy the system, or become it. Plotline 28. The man who refused to be owned. Washington, D.C., 2 p.m. Nathan Carter sat in his private office. His phone rang. He smiled before answering. "Logan, I was wondering when you'd call." Logan's voice was cold. "You played me." Carter exhaled. "I built you." Logan's fingers curled around his gun. "You really think I'm going to work for you?" Carter chuckled. "Who said you have a choice?" Logan's breath slowed. "Maybe I make one." Carter smirked. "You could kill me. Leak every file you have. But tell me, Logan, what happens after that? Silence. Carter leaned back. You think you'll save the world? Burn the system down. Logan's heart pounded. Carter's voice was calm, controlled. The world doesn't want saving, Logan. It wants order. Logan gritted his teeth. And you think I can give it to them? Carter smiled. You already are. Logan clenched his jaw. You think you're untouchable, Carter? Carter chuckled. No, but you are. Silence. Then Carter exhaled. And that's why you won't kill me. Logan's pulse pounded. Watch me. Carter smirked. All right, Logan. If you're so sure. Then come and get me. Then he hung up. Logan exhaled slowly. Rachel looked at him. He's daring you to do it. Logan loaded his gun. Yeah. Rachel frowned. And? Logan's eyes darkened. Let's give him what he wants. Because if Nathan Carter thought he could control Logan Pierce, he was about to learn just how wrong he was. Plotline 29. The assassination that shouldn't happen. Washington, D.C., 4:30 p.m. Logan and Rachel moved through the streets. Carter was at his private estate, surrounded by security. Rachel exhaled. This is suicide. Logan smirked. Not if we do it right. Rachel crossed her arms. And what's right in this situation? Logan's expression hardened. We don't go through the front door. Rachel frowned. Then how do we? Logan pulled out his phone. Typed a message. I know you're watching. You want a chance at redemption? Then prove it. Rachel's breath hitched. Who the hell are you messaging? Logan exhaled. The only man who can get us in. Rachel's pulse spiked. You're bringing in Elias Wren? Logan's eyes darkened. Yeah. Rachel shook her head. You don't even know if he'll help. Logan smirked. He doesn't need to help. He just needs to be curious. And Logan knew one thing about Elias Wren. Curiosity was his weakness. Plotline 30. The enemy of my enemy. Undisclosed location, 5 p.m. Elias Wren sat in the shadows, watching his phone. He read Logan's message twice. Then he smirked. For years, he had been the perfect assassin. No mistakes, no hesitation, no questions. But Logan Pierce? He was different. Elias chuckled. All right, Logan. Let's see if you can surprise me again. Then he grabbed his gun. Because if Logan wanted to go after Nathan Carter, he was going to need all the help he could get. Plotline 31, the final move. Carter Estate, 8:45 p.m. Logan watched from a distance. The estate was locked down. Guards at every entrance. No easy way in. Rachel whispered. How do we do this? Logan exhaled. We don't. Rachel frowned. What? Logan's eyes hardened. We let him bring us in. Rachel's heart pounded. How? Logan smirked. By making sure he knows we're coming. Rachel hesitated. Logan, that's... Before she could finish, Logan stepped into the open. No more hiding. No more running. Nathan Carter had spent years shaping him. Now, Logan Pierce was about to show him exactly what he had created. Then, the alarms blared. Floodlights lit up the grounds. Armed men rushed out. And standing at the top of the stairs, waiting for him, was Nathan Carter. Carter smirked. You really are predictable, Logan. Logan clenched his fists. You should have killed me when you had the chance. Carter chuckled. Who says I didn't? Then he gestured behind him. And stepping into the light, gun in hand, was Elias Wren. Rachel's breath hitched. He set us up. Logan exhaled sharply. No. Rachel frowned. What? Logan smirked. He's setting Carter up. Because Logan had bet everything on one gamble. That Elias Wren wasn't here to kill him. He was here to kill Carter instead. And now, that bet was about to pay off. Undisclosed location 72 hours later, the successor who refused to lead. Logan Pierce had spent his life fighting the system. Now, he was being offered the keys to it. The Apex Bureau had spent years shaping him. Nathan Carter had been a temporary king. But Logan? He had been built to last. Logan Pierce, successor confirmed. The words burned on the screen in front of him. Rachel stood in the doorway, arms crossed. "You're not actually considering this." Logan exhaled. "You think I have a choice?" Rachel's jaw tightened. "You always have a choice, Logan." Logan smirked. "Yeah? Then tell me what it is." Because deep down, he knew the truth. The system wasn't dying. It was adapting. And the moment Logan had pulled the trigger on Carter, he had taken his first step into its world. Plotline 36. The Bureau's next move. Washington, D.C. 9 a.m. Inside a high-security intelligence compound, a group of men and women sat in silence, watching Logan Pierce on a screen. A woman in a dark suit tapped her pen. "He's resisting." A man across the table exhaled. "He's adjusting." The woman frowned. "And if he refuses?" The man smiled. "Then we remind him why he was chosen in the first place." She hesitated. "And if he fights back?" The man leaned forward. "Then we break him." And just like that, Logan's war wasn't over. It was just getting started. Plotline 37. The choice that shouldn't exist. Undisclosed safe house. 10:45 p.m. Logan sat in front of his laptop. His fingers hovered over the keys. He had one shot. One move that could either end this or make it worse. Rachel leaned against the wall. "You leak those files. They'll come after you harder than before." Logan smirked. "They're coming after me anyway." Rachel exhaled. "And if this backfires?" Logan's jaw tightened. "Then at least I die on my terms." Rachel's breath hitched. "You don't have to do this alone." Logan's smirk faded. "Yeah, Rachel. I do." Then he pressed send. And just like that, the world had every Apex secret on full display. Plotline 38. The counterattack. Langley, Virginia, 11:30 p.m. Alarms blared inside a classified intelligence facility. A man in a black suit stormed into the control room. "Who authorized the leak?" The technician's voice was shaky. "Sir, it wasn't an inside job." The man's breath slowed. "Then who?" The technician exhaled. "Logan Pierce." Silence. Then, the man pulled out his phone. Dialed a number. A calm voice answered. "Elias Wren." The man's voice was cold. "Kill him. For real this time." Plotline 39. The ghost returns. Safe house, 1:12 a.m. Logan's phone buzzed. Unknown number. "You made a mistake, Pierce." Logan smirked. "Not my first." Rachel tensed. "Who is it?" Logan's voice was calm. "Elias Wren." Rachel's pulse spiked. "He's coming to kill you." Logan loaded his gun. "Yeah." Rachel's voice shook. "Logan, you don't beat Elias Wren." Logan exhaled. "Then I guess I'm about to do the impossible." Because if Elias Wren was coming for Logan, then this wasn't just a fight. It was a final reckoning. And Logan Pierce was ready for war. Safe house, 1:15 a.m., the last hunt begins. Logan Pierce had spent his life fixing the unfixable. Tonight, he was fixing himself. Elias Wren was coming. The Apex Bureau's deadliest weapon. The man who never missed. Rachel stood near the door, gripping a pistol. "We need to move, Logan." Logan exhaled. "No." Rachel's jaw tightened. "You're staying." Logan loaded his gun. "I'm finishing this." Rachel's breath hitched. "You can't beat him." Logan smirked. "Maybe." He locked eyes with her. "But I can change the rules." Because Elias Wren had never hunted someone like Logan Pierce before. A man with nothing left to lose. And everything to burn. Plotline 40. The first shot. Brooklyn, 1:22 a.m. A single black SUV rolled down an empty street. Inside, Elias Wren adjusted his watch. Calm, steady, efficient. His earpiece buzzed. "You have the target's location?" Elias smirked. "He wants me to find him." The voice hesitated. "Then kill him." Elias exhaled. "Soon." Then he pulled out his suppressed pistol. And just like that, the last hunt of Logan Pierce began. Plotline 41. The trap that shouldn't work. Safe house, 1:30 a.m. Logan watched from a second-story window. Dark streets. No movement. But he knew Elias was out there. Watching. Waiting. Logan turned to Rachel. When the power goes out, leave. Rachel clenched her fists. Logan. Logan held up a hand. Go to the second location. Wait for me. Rachel's voice shook. You don't know if you're coming back. Logan's smirk was cold. Exactly. Rachel hesitated. Then she ran. And Logan waited. Plotline 42. The Dance of Death. Safe house. 1:42 a.m. The lights flickered. Then darkness. Logan exhaled. He's here. A single footstep echoed in the hall. Logan raised his gun. A shadow moved. Then, bang. Logan Dove left as a bullet ripped through the wall. Silence. Then a whisper. Clever, Pierce. Logan's chest tightened. He turned. Saw Elias Wren standing in the doorway. Gun raised. Expression unreadable. Elias smirked. You're not running. Logan exhaled. No. Elias tilted his head. Why? Logan's grip tightened. Because I'm done playing your game. Then he pulled the trigger. Bang. Elias dodged, returned fire, and suddenly, the room exploded into chaos. Plotline 43. The fight that should have killed him. Safe house. 1:45 a.m. Logan hit the ground, rolling behind a desk. Another silenced shot tore past his ear. Elias moved fast. Too fast. Logan's mind raced. Elias wasn't just an assassin. He was a machine. Logan exhaled. Then he did something Elias didn't expect. He threw his gun down. Silence. Then Elias smirked. You're out of bullets. Logan cracked his neck. No. He raised his fists. I just want to finish this the right way. Elias chuckled. You really think you can win? Logan rolled his shoulders. No. He smirked. But I can make you bleed. Elias Wren had killed dozens of men. But Logan Pierce? He wasn't just a man anymore. He was the system's biggest mistake. And now, he was about to fix it. Plotline 44. The breaking point. Safe house. 1:48 a.m. Elias struck first. Fast. Brutal. Logan barely dodged. Pain exploded in his ribs. He countered, landing a hard right hook. Elias staggered. Then he smiled. Logan exhaled. You actually enjoy this, don't you? Elias smirked. I enjoy the challenge. Logan's jaw tightened. Then let's see if you can survive it. Then he tackled Elias straight through the window. Glass shattered. Both men hit the pavement hard. Blood dripped from Logan's forehead. Elias wiped his mouth. Not bad, Pierce. Logan smirked. Not done yet. Then he grabbed a steel pipe. Because if Elias Wren wanted a fight, Logan was about to give him a war. Plotline 45, the last move. Brooklyn alleyway, 1:53 a.m. Logan and Elias circled each other. Both injured. Both bleeding. Elias exhaled. You're better than I expected. Logan smirked. Yeah, but I'm still alive. Elias chuckled. For now. Logan tightened his grip on the pipe. Elias cracked his knuckles. Then, a single gunshot rang out. Both men froze. Logan's breath hitched. Elias's face changed. Then he staggered. Rachel stepped out of the shadows. Gun raised. Elias collapsed to one knee. Logan exhaled. Rachel. She clenched her jaw. He was going to kill you. Elias chuckled weakly. Not tonight. Logan narrowed his eyes. Elias looked up. His smirk was bloody. You were never my real target, Pierce. Logan's heart pounded. What the hell does that mean? Elias exhaled. Then he pressed a small device in his hand. A single message appeared on Logan's phone. They were never hunting you. They were preparing you. Logan's stomach twisted. Elias grinned. Carter wasn't the real enemy, Pierce. He coughed. He was just the beginning. Logan froze, because suddenly, he realized, the real players were still out there. And now, they knew Logan Pierce was ready. Brooklyn alleyway, 1:55 a.m. The message that changed everything. Logan Pierce had spent his life chasing ghosts. Tonight, he had finally caught one. Elias Wren knelt on the pavement, bleeding but smirking. Rachel kept her gun trained on him, her breath unsteady. Logan clenched his fists. You just said Carter wasn't the real enemy. Elias exhaled, wiping blood from his mouth. He wasn't. Logan narrowed his eyes. Then who is? Elias chuckled weakly. You already know the answer. Rachel's pulse spiked. If you're trying to buy time. Elias raised a hand. Relax, sweetheart. I'm not running. His smirk faded. But I am dying. Rachel hesitated. Logan's pulse pounded. Because something felt off. This wasn't Elias losing. This was Elias passing something on. Plotline 46. The name that shouldn't exist. Brooklyn alleyway, 1:57 a.m. Elias tilted his head toward Logan. You spent your whole life thinking you were taking down the bureau. Logan exhaled. I did. Elias's smirk returned. No, Logan. You were just clearing the board for them. Rachel's grip on the gun tightened. What the hell does that mean? Elias chuckled. You think Apex was the top? That Carter was the king. Logan's chest tightened. Elias shook his head. No, Pierce. His voice dropped lower. The real power isn't in intelligence files. It isn't in hidden accounts. His eyes darkened. It's in the people you never see. Silence. Then Elias whispered a name. A name that shouldn't exist. A name Logan had never heard before. Adrian Langley. Rachel blinked. Who the hell is that? Elias exhaled. The man who built everything. Logan's stomach twisted. Everything. Elias's smirk was cold. The bureau. The system. The game you thought you were playing. Rachel's hands shook. Logan clenched his fists. Because suddenly, everything made sense. Nathan Carter wasn't the mastermind. He was just another piece. And the man Elias had just named? That was the real king. And now, Logan Pierce was coming for him. Plotline 47. The last words of a killer. Elias exhaled. Well, that's my part done. Logan's jaw clenched. You're not walking away from this. Elias chuckled. No, Pierce. He wiped blood from his lips. I'm not walking anywhere. Rachel's gun didn't waver. You expect us to let you go? Elias smirked. I expect you to realize I was never the problem. He leaned forward. I was just a tool, Pierce. His eyes darkened. Just like you. Logan's pulse spiked. Because deep down he knew Elias was right. He had spent his whole life erasing people's mistakes. Fixing things. But maybe he had never been in control. Maybe he had always been the tool of something bigger. And now, he was about to find out what. Elias coughed. You want to win, Pierce? Logan's hands tightened into fists. Yes. Elias nodded. Then find Langley. He exhaled sharply. And kill him before he finds you. Then, Elias Wren collapsed. Rachel checked his pulse. She exhaled. He's dead. Logan stared at the body. Because he wasn't sure if Elias had just given him a warning. Or a challenge. Plotline 48. The new hunt begins. Undisclosed location, 2:30 a.m. A man sat in a dark room watching a surveillance feed. Logan Pierce stood over Elias Wren's body. The man exhaled. So Logan had survived. Just as expected. A woman entered the room. She whispered. He's ready, sir. The man smiled. No. His voice was calm. He's just getting started. The woman hesitated. And if he comes after us? The man chuckled. He will. He leaned back. But that's the fun part. He exhaled. Because Logan Pierce doesn't realize one thing yet. The woman frowned. What's that? The man's smirk was ice cold. That he's not the hunter in this game. His eyes glowed in the dim light. He's the prey. And just like that, the war for Logan Pierce's life had truly begun. Plotline 49. The next move. Safe house, 3 a.m. Rachel and Logan sat in silence. The USB drive Elias had left was open on Logan's laptop. Rachel exhaled. There's no record of an Adrian Langley. Logan nodded. Of course not. Rachel frowned. Then how do we find him? Logan smirked. We don't. Rachel's pulse spiked. What? Logan leaned back. He's watching us right now. Rachel's stomach twisted. You're sure? Logan exhaled. No. He cracked his knuckles. But we're about to find out. Rachel hesitated. How? Logan smirked. By giving him something to chase. Then, he picked up his phone. Typed a single message. Adrian Langley. We need to talk. And just like that, Logan Pierce had thrown a match into a gasoline fire. Now, he was about to see who burned first. Safe house, 3:02 a.m., the last gamble. Logan Pierce had spent his life fighting ghosts. Now, he was finally confronting the man who had created them. Adrian Langley. We need to talk. Rachel watched as Logan put his phone down. You really think he's going to respond? Logan smirked. He doesn't have a choice. Rachel hesitated. And if he doesn't? Logan exhaled. Then we burn everything down and watch what comes crawling out. Then, ping. Rachel's heart skipped a beat. A response. Washington. 1 hour. Come alone. Logan's smirk faded. Rachel grabbed his arm. You're not actually going. Logan nodded. I am. Rachel clenched her fists. This is a trap. Logan exhaled. Of course it is. Rachel hesitated. And if you don't come back? Logan smiled coldly. Then make sure they regret it. Plotline 50. The meeting that shouldn't have happened. Washington, D.C. Undisclosed location, 4 a.m. Logan stepped into a dimly lit office. No guards. No security. Just one man. Adrian Langley. Older. Refined. The kind of man who didn't need to raise his voice to control a room. Langley smirked. Mr. Pierce. I was beginning to think you'd never make it here. Logan sat across from him. No more games. No more riddles. His eyes darkened. You're going to tell me exactly what this has all been about. Langley leaned back, amused. I already did. Logan's jaw tightened. Project Blacklight. Conditioning. The Bureau. Carter. It all led here. Langley nodded. Of course it did. His voice was calm. Because this was never about stopping us, Logan. His smile widened. This was about seeing if you were ready to replace us. Plotline 51. The truth Logan refused to accept. Silence. Then Logan exhaled sharply. You spent years controlling me. Manipulating me. Langley shrugged. No, Logan. We built you. He leaned forward. And now you have a choice. Logan's hands tightened into fists. What choice? Langley smiled. You can walk away from this. Try to live whatever life you think still exists for you. His voice lowered. Or, you can take your rightful place at the top. Logan's pulse pounded. You're insane. Langley chuckled. No, Mr. Pierce. His eyes darkened. I'm inevitable. Plotline 52. The final decision. Rachel's words echoed in Logan's mind. You always have a choice. For the first time in his life, Logan wasn't sure if that was true. Langley folded his hands. So, Mr. Pierce, what will it be? Logan exhaled. Then he stood up and pulled his gun. Langley smirked. Of course, violence. The simplest solution. Logan didn't hesitate. Bang. Langley's body jerked back. Blood bloomed across his suit. His smile never faded. As he collapsed, he whispered one final truth. You've just proven my point. Then, Langley was gone. Epilogue. The throne no one wanted. Safe house, 6 a.m. Rachel turned as Logan walked through the door. She exhaled sharply. You're alive. Logan nodded. Rachel studied his face. What happened? Logan sat down, rubbing his temples. I killed Langley. Rachel's pulse spiked. Then it's over? Logan hesitated. Because deep down, he knew the truth. Langley was just one man. The system was still alive. And now, Logan Pierce wasn't just fighting it. He had become its biggest threat. Rachel's voice was quiet. What do we do now? Logan exhaled. Then he picked up his phone. typed a single message. Time to finish what we started. And just like that, the war wasn't over. It was just beginning. The end.